crop.
Oh, you're so much taller than me.
Funny, I'm slouching as well.
You're like, I need to get into the frame here. Hello, welcome. I always hate saying welcome back to my channel. It seems so corny. Like, hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm joined today by the lovely Jackstagram on Instagram, Twitter and all that stuff. You may remember him from the Legoland vlog.
Oh yes.
Not too long ago. It is actually our pre-travel day. We're very excited.
So excited. It's not happening.
Yeah, I know. I literally, my stomach keeps going and I keep being like, something's gonna happen.
Don't.
Yeah, I know, it's so bad. I can't say it. But, so we need to distract ourselves. So what we thought we'd do is, seeing as Jack has quite recently come back from California, he's been to Orlando, I've been to California and Orlando. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I've been to both. Yeah, once or twice.
Been to both?
Yeah.
Been to all?
Yeah, humble brag. But what we thought we'd do today is settle the age-old debate of which is better, Walt Disney World or Disneyland Resort. And how we're going to do this is we're basically going to take similar attractions from each resort and tally them up against each other. So I've made a list, I've made a crude list on my phone, and I thought we'd take each one and we'll kind of chat about each ride and whether we think one is better than the other. And then I've got my Mickey pen from Hong Kong Disneyland. And we're gonna mark down notes and I'll put some shit on the screen or something and it'll put markers, and then at the end we'll know once and for all which is the best. So I've taken rides from, I've taken them as resorts. It's not Magic Kingdom versus Disneyland, it's Disney World versus Disneyland Resort. So first up, we're going to kind of start with the less interesting ones, I guess, and then build up to kind of the main thing that I feel like people talk about all the time. But yeah, so the first one is Kali River Rapids at Animal Kingdom versus Grizzly River Run at California Adventure. Do you want us to kick off? Because I think you've been on Grizzly River Run much more recently than I have. Yeah.
I would say Grizzly River Run.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it is very well themed, even though Kali River Rapids is themed as
Yeah.
well. But on this one there's more to look at.
Yeah.
There's 2 drops on it.
See, I honestly, I don't really remember. Like, when I went on Grizzly River Run in 2012, so it was like 7 years ago now, all I really remember is obviously the bear mountain.
Yeah.
I remember the giant bear out the front who's like dressed in like kayaking gear, I guess.
Yes.
And there was a little girl on the run. When we got on the boat, there was a little girl and her dad, and she had been on it about 10 times, and she was just sitting on it all day. She was absolutely drenched. And every time we run, she was like, again, and the dad was like, guess we're going again. And we were like, oh my god, she's just sat here all day.
Me riding with
yeah.
again.
So you think Grizzly River Run over Kali River Rapids? I rode Kali River Rapids most recently. I always think Kali River Rapids is weird because any other park in any other world, in anywhere else in the world, you'd be like, this is amazing. But at Animal Kingdom, it's kind of like, it's one of the attractions at Animal Kingdom, and we're gonna go on it, and that'll be fine. But it's kind of, yeah. I do like the drop on Kali River Rapids.
Yeah,
but if you're saying Grizzly River Run has 2 drops and it's a bit better themed, and you've been on both in more recent memory than I have, so I'm happy to give the point to Grizzly River Run. So that is the first point for the California Resort. Bing. There we go. Number 1.
What is next?
Points scored. Number 2, which I feel like is a no-brainer, the Matterhorn versus Expedition Everest.
When you say, oh, I'm scared now, when you said
well,
no-brainer.
Right, so, bit of fun fact trivia about myself. I haven't been on the Matterhorn because it was broken when I went.
No!
So I don't have the cred.
Sure.
So I can't actually compare them from my own experience, but I guess from going by what it looks like, it's probably Expedition Everest, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
like, Expedition Everest. Like, Expedition Everest is amazing.
Yes.
Like, the coaster's not fantastic and the best thing ever, but the whole experience of Expedition Everest is just crazy. The Yeti and the track, and the track's broken, everyone goes, oh my god, and then the backwards section. Yes. I did actually ride Expedition Everest when the Yeti still worked. Did you do it when the Yeti worked? So we went, when did that ride open? 2000? Was it open? Oh, Lord knows. Maybe it was a lot later than that. I might be totally off. But I'm pretty sure I rode it in opening year and the Yeti worked, and I remember being absolutely terrified of it. and then obviously subsequent times he has been Disco Yeti.
Broke.
Yeah. Just going past. Espresso.
Stroke Yeti.
I mean, hopefully they fix it one day, but I mean, even despite broken Yeti, I mean, the Matterhorn, what would you compare it to, the Matterhorn? Is it kind of like Space Mountain outside? Because that's kind of what I imagine it to be like.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And it's got Yetis and shit in it, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
I don't know what, but they're like small ones? Abominable Snowman.
Like
yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a bit. Obviously, it's like part of Disneyland's history, whatever. But it's obviously not as good. I feel like anyone who.
I found because we've done the right side first.
Yeah.
I think it was the Fantasyland side.
Yeah.
That was fine, but when we done the Tomorrowland side, it was so rough.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was just going,
Oh god. See, and I think on Space Mountain that's fun because it's in the dark and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna die. It's great, but on there you're like, ow, this just hurts. Okay, cool. So, point 4, Expedition Everest. Fine, cool.
Correct.
Ding. Ding. This one's really hard. I think it's really hard.
God.
Okay. Indiana Jones versus Dinosaur. Why are all these attractions at Animal Kingdom? Who knows?
I know, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even realise until I read. Yeah. Dinosaur versus Indy.
So I only got to do Indy once because obviously I went when it was springtime.
Oh god, yeah.
It was busy, blah blah blah.
Worth it.
But it was a good. But I've done Dinosaur loads of times.
Yeah.
And you know the same ride system. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
To decide.
It's really hard. I would say Indiana Jones in Japan is better than both of those. I think Dinosaur's second, and I think Indiana Jones in California is third. But they are all excellent.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is amazing, and like, I'm not even that big an Indiana Jones fan, but when you're on it, it's like dun, 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 and you're like, yes, like I got an adventure, and like you genuinely feel like you could just fly out of the car at any time. But I don't know. I know obviously Dinosaurs based on the film or whatever, but I do feel like Dinosaurs got more of that like Disney original stuff that we don't really see a lot of anymore.
Yeah.
And like it's got a bit more of a sense of humour, I think. Like, you know, at the end where you see like on the CCTV and the iguanodons like mincing around the facility, and obviously it gets bonus points because of all the crying children that come off of it, which is hilarious. It was literally always, if you see anyone's ride photo from that ride, there's always a child that's kind of like so good. And
my sister's doing that on
oh my god, and you can always get such a good ride photo from Dinosaur, which I feel like obviously Indy's amazing, and the queue for Indy is obscene.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It is so good. And the Dinosaur queue has that weird like stuff that's left over from when it was sponsored by McDonald's. So there's like red and yellow tubes in the queue that were like ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
Like this is really weird. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go Dinosaur on that one.
Yeah, I'll see Dinosaur.
Cool. Okay, Dinosaur. Another point for Animal Kingdom. I mean, Disneyland. I'm pretty sure the next one's not Animal Kingdom. If it is, I'll skip it. We'll come back to it. Okay. No, this next one is not Animal Kingdom. Okay. Launch coasters.
Oof.
Rock and Roller Coaster versus Incredicoaster. So obviously Rock and Roller Coaster is at Disney Studios. Incredicoaster used to be California Screaming at California Adventure.
Now. Oh, it's so hard. I do like Rock and Roller Coaster. I did like the one in Disneyland Paris with all the lights and everything.
Yeah.
Because the one in Orlando is a bit bland.
Yeah, the black lit like cutout.
Because I like the launch and then into the loop.
Yeah.
So good.
Or on Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
I think Rock and Roller Coaster is like, for me, it was one of like the first like big roller coasters I went on, and I remember going, and again I think it must have been opening year or very near to opening year, because I went to Orlando the first time in 1994, so before all of this stuff was there, and we went back in 97, and I feel like that might have been around when it opened. Probably wrong, I'm sorry if it's wrong, but anyway, we didn't really know what it was, and my dad told me it was a simulator. And I was like, okay, fine, and we'll go on it. And then obviously we get in there and you come out of the studio bit and you see this just limousine car go boom, and I was like, what? Like, and my dad's like, it's fine, like just get on it, it'll be fine. Like, and then we went on it. I'm pretty sure that's my first experience of a launch coaster as well. And now I absolutely love a launch coaster, and I think Rock and Roller Coaster probably has quite a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
I haven't ridden Incredicoaster as Incredicoaster. I've ridden it as California Screaming. I remember loads of people being like, oh my god, it's so good, the onboard audio is amazing, so magical, and all I remember is being on it and this horrible crackling like wind noise in my ear, and I was just like, and obviously I haven't been in 7 years, but like I just don't remember it being that good. Like, I was just like, it's a thing. Like, it felt like more of a piece of theming than a ride. But I mean, you've ridden it more recently. What do you think?
Well, I enjoyed it.
Is it good as Incredicoaster? I haven't really looked much into it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's not like the launch is not like amazing.
No.
It's just like a little gradual and then you go up. It's good. It's long.
Yeah, that's true.
It looks good.
Yeah.
But the audio on it's far.
Oh,
there's no
really?
crackling or nothing.
Oh, yeah.
You get to smell cookies in one of the tunnels.
Oh my god, do you? That's fab. I love a smell pod on a ride.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Smell the cookies. I don't know. So tough. I'll probably say Incredicoaster, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think just because
Yeah.
there's clones of
That is true.
them rides.
Yeah, you've got
Human. Like,
Platform
what's
13,
yeah.
and then you've got obviously the other Rock and Roller Coaster, which is soon to be rethemed at some point to some kind of Marvel Iron Man situation, which I'm quite looking forward to actually. I think it'll be quite fun. Okay, cool. So point for Incredicoaster. Actually, when the thing with Rock and Roller Coaster, when you take all the kind of like Aerosmith stuff away from it.
Take the building away.
Yeah, like if you literally if you go on platform 13 at Wallaby, it's kind of like the queue for that is really fun, but the actual ride is kind of like yeah. I feel like if you're taking it on coaster basis, yeah, Incredicoaster probably wins. Cool. So 1 point for Incredicoaster, another point for California Resort. Yeah. I feel like this is a no-brainer as well.
Okay.
Tower of Terror versus Guardians
Tower
of
of
the Galaxy.
Terror.
Next. Cool, right, point for Orlando. I'm not even no. Obviously, Tower of Terror is the best ride in the world, and I still maintain that Tower of Terror is the best ride in the world. My bag is falling over. Tower of Terror, I've talked about Tower of Terror so much and how much I love it. Like, the fact that you can see it from your outside of the park and you're like, there it is! So it's just hideous, yeah. It's literally just sit there like, like, from anywhere you are in Disney World, it's like, hey.
I was up to the advertisements in the middle of the road.
Oh my god, yeah, and it's moving, and you drive, like when you drive through, you're like, there it is! Like, that's one of them, like, oh my god, I'm in Orlando moments.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't done Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, but I have done the old Tower of Terror at California Adventure. And in general, the ride system, I just prefer the Tower of Terror version. One of the main reasons why I prefer it is when the elevator doors open in Florida, you go straight into the elevator. In California, you go across a service corridor and then get into the elevator. Like, I get that they redesigned it to make it the higher throughputs and whatever, but I just think I was always, the first time I saw that I was like,
I know, it
ruins
it.
Yeah.
It ruins it a bit.
Yeah. I do think Mission Breakout looks good, but again, it is good. I just don't think it's about Guardians.
I was just sat and going, Tower of Terror.
Like, I think the Rocket Raccoon animatronic looks really fab.
Oh, yeah,
I literally
good.
like, I've tried to watch Guardians of the Galaxy like 3 times, and every single time I've fallen asleep, and I'm just like, I don't have any like love for this. Whereas Tower of Terror, like the Twilight Zone IP, kind of made me fall in love with the horror stuff a little bit. Like, I think it's one of the reasons why I like that stuff now, because as a child going on it, I just remember being absolutely transfixed on it and being like, this is so fucking cool. And it kind of like, it definitely is one of the rides that like spurred my theme park obsession. But yeah, obviously it's Tower of Terror out of those two. Ding. Okay, this one's quite hard because they get into like for likes.
Okay.
You're gonna hate this as well.
Oh no.
Small World at Magic Kingdom or Small World at California?
Nada.
Pass.
Well,
I know
I'd say the one in California because it's got the
characters
front.
as well.
Yeah.
And it's the
oh yeah,
original
with the characters,
one.
yeah.
It's the original
Got all
one.
the Disney characters in
It's
it,
got
yeah.
the Disney magic, and it has, yeah, the updated version. You go around the world, and the characters from the locations around the world are in the ride. So like you go to Italy and there's little Pinocchio, and you go to like, where else? Hawaii, and there's a Lilo and Stitch and stuff.
Yeah.
So cute. And yeah, it literally has like the original like small world facade. The small world in Orlando is rank. Like, it is so grubby, and you go in there and it's kind of like, this is just grim.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it just, yeah, there's something about it that doesn't feel very magical, whereas I think the California one feels way more magical.
Wonder why they designed the Orlando one like that.
It's bizarre. I mean, it must be to do with space. There'll be a reason.
Yeah.
We don't know why, but like, yeah, it must be to do with space. But it's kind of like the Hong Kong. It's Small World. It's my favourite. It's a Small World, by the way. Just a disclaimer. It's fab. And then second to that's probably Paris, and then California. But yeah, I like the element of having the Disney characters, and yeah, and it's magical. Yay! Okay, so we're giving a point to California on that one.
Yes.
Okay, I've memorised what the next one is.
Ooh.
It's another like for like. It's Pirates Orlando versus Pirates California, and I think that's another no-brainer in my opinion.
Can't we say Paris?
Well, yes. I mean, obviously, of the classic Pirates rides,
yes.
Paris is the best. Orlando's is shit.
Yes.
Like, you know why Orlando's is the way it is and all that stuff. Like, if you don't know, Orlando, when Magic Kingdom originally opened, they were like, we don't want to do a Pirates ride because Orlando's kind of close to the actual Caribbean, and they didn't want it, felt a bit close to home. So they opened the park without it. And because it was such an e-ticket attraction in California, when the guests went, everyone was like, where's Pirates at? So the Imagineers were like, oh shit, maybe we put it in. And so they shoehorned in this tiny crap Pirates. And I remember, like, when I went back to Orlando, maybe in like, I think it's probably when I went in 2013, I hadn't been in a few years, and I remember going on Pirates, and in between I'd been to Paris quite a lot, and I remember going on Pirates in Orlando, and it was just like, oh, it's finished. And you're kind of like, you feel like you're just getting into the story, and then you're like, and it's done. And you're like, oh. And again, I think California just has that, like, it's the original one. I love when you go into the building and the boats are coming around like the front bit. So,
and there's a paddock.
Yeah, so good. Like, it's, I don't understand why they didn't build them all like that.
I know.
It's so good. Yeah, that is definitely a point for California, 100%.
Ding.
Ding. Splash Mountain in Orlando versus Splash Mountain in Disneyland. It's actually really hard.
They're literally exactly the same, except for the boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. The middle room where all the characters are and stuff. The layout's a bit different in there in California.
Does one of them, I swear, does the Orlando one have a little airtime bump?
Yeah.
Oh, does it? My memory. Last time I went on Splash Mountain was when my camera got spicy. Just so I spent the whole ride like.
Yeah, it does.
I remember I've always loved Splash Mountain, and I love Brer Rabbit was like my favourite Disney character for ages, and I was obsessed with Splash Mountain ride. So that one was always the Orlando version. However, when I went to California, I took my best friend Alex, and he'd never been to a Disney park, and the very first ride we went on was Splash Mountain. Yeah, and he literally was just like blindly going into everything. He had no idea what he was about to go on, had no context for what Splash Mountain was, whatever. And he's just looking at this like, it's a log flume. Like, obviously you could see the drop and the briar patch and stuff. But he had no idea of like the dark ride section. So we go round, go up the first thing, go down the first drop into the first indoor section, and it splashes, and there's just a bunch of fucking like chickens like and he was like, what is this? And he was like tears of laughter, because he was just like, obviously if you don't expect a singing animatronic chicken, it's obviously going to catch you off guard. But like, I do have really good memories of that one, but I don't know, why do I think that Florida's is better? I don't know, maybe it's like the placement of it, I don't know. I like the bridges and stuff that go over it in Florida, and I don't know, I feel like it's a bit more integrated in Florida. I don't know.
It's hard.
I would go Florida personally, but I mean, let's see if you agree.
In wetness it'd be California.
You got drenched, didn't you? Just
so wet.
You sat in the front though, didn't you?
Today.
I'm gonna give that one to Orlando.
Yeah.
Ding.
It comes as hard.
Yeah. This is hard because again, I think the answer is actually Paris. Big Thunder Mountain at Magic Kingdom or Big Thunder Mountain at Disneyland.
I'd say Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, Big Thunder Mountain at Disneyland's kind of 1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like, again, I think it's one of the things where you kind of, they obviously took that design and just improved it with the subsequent versions. But like, I remember the first time I went on it, I was like, okay. That was it. And like, I feel like if you lived in California or you grew up going on that version, you probably have a bit more like nostalgic value to it. But like, yeah, as a first time rider on it as an adult, like I was 22 the first time I went on it, I just sat on it like, what is
where's the drop?
Yeah, I was literally like, I was waiting for it to do something. You know, obviously in the Paris version you have the fab like underground and it's on the island. Obviously the Paris version is obviously the best one. But yeah, Big Thunder in Orlando is fine. I feel like it's fine. It's fun. It's whatever. Like it's. That was the first ride I went on when we were in Magic Kingdom when we visited this time as well. But yeah, okay. That's another Orlando, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Big Thunder Orlando wins that round. Cool. Space Mountain in Orlando versus Space Mountain in California.
See, I think the one in Orlando is more wild.
Yeah, you feel like you're gonna die.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the head choppers. You're just like, ah!
But it's just like, so there you go. It's like,
And you feel like you're just hurtling rage and you're like, I am gonna get like a full-blown steel support to the face at any moment now. Yeah.
The Space Mountain station in California is so good.
Yes.
Compared to Orlando.
Oh my god. The Orlando one is like,
Blue line.
Yeah. And that like, it's like got that horrendous like 70s like trying to be futuristic, but it's actually just really cold and horrible.
Yeah.
But the coaster itself, like the California one, I just felt like it was just going around a big helix the whole time. I was like, this is not fun. And the Orlando one has like obviously the dueling element as well, which I think is very cool. Personally, I much prefer the Orlando version to the Cali version.
But then I prefer the one in Paris.
Obviously, yeah. So what we're getting out of this video is Paris is actually better. Yeah.
Paris.
Yeah. Paris circled. See, I know people always give Paris a hard time. I think Paris is fucking great. Paris is amazing. Okay, right. So that's another point for Orlando.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my god, we've only got one more left. Unless you can think of any other. Before we do the final one, can you think of any other rides in the two parks that you would compare? Because I wrote this list. If you're thinking, you're like, we haven't compared this and this. Like, obviously, there are things like the carousel is at both parks. But I thought, well, that's just.
Yeah,
like, I wanted to do like major rides that are kind of similar.
Yeah.
I guess we could do Radiator Springs races versus Test Track.
Oh, Radiator Springs.
Oh really?
Yes.
See, I haven't been on it. When I went to California, it was opening a week later, so we didn't get to ride it.
I mean, I'd say Test Track has more thrilling.
Yeah.
But because of the location of Radiator Springs,
it looks amazing.
So good. And in the dark
got...
section as well, the cars going like.
I think Cars is really fun.
Yes.
I don't really love
Cars Land is so good.
I honestly think I would probably prefer Radiator Springs races as well. I preferred Test Track before they like modernised it and made it really weird. Because it's really weird now. Like I loved it when it was like the crash test dummies. Yeah. Because my little brother used to have the crash test dummies toys where you had the little men in the cars and you'd fling them at walls and their heads would like come off and stuff. But yeah, and then they made it like weird and like kind of like Tron but not, and it's a bit odd. Yeah, I think as a ride, Radiator Springs races is probably okay. I'm gonna give a point to California for Radiator Springs races. That was an impromptu one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you would compare out of the two.
Could we compare lands?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm keeping the main thing for last. Okay, Main Street USA in Orlando versus Main Street USA in California. I know exactly what you're going to say as well.
What?
You're going to say that the Disneyland one has that nostalgia.
Yes.
And it has like, you know, when you're walking down it, you're like, what was here?
Yeah, and, I know. And it's little lights on it.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess the thing I don't really like about Orlando's Main Street is it's so fucking busy. Yeah. Like, it is so busy, and I do think, like, it's I don't know, the one in California is cuter. Everything's smaller and like cutesier. Yeah. And miniature and like, nice.
I do like though when in Orlando when you come round the corner and the reveal of the castle. That's my favourite part.
Yeah, that is
but
good.
other than that,
yeah, the main street itself, I think for the nostalgia points, and the fact it is weird how obviously we weren't alive when Walt Disney was actually in the park, but to walk, you feel it, you really do feel it, like you're like, oh my god, like, and you can sense like the kind of the love that went into building the place, and it's kind of like, oh, like, I don't cry, but when you're there, you're kind of like,
bless.
Okay, California can have a point for that.
Yes.
Alright, should we just do the the Disneyland park? And do
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, Frontierland. I think Orlando's Frontierland is better than California's Frontierland. It's bigger.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, I think like they're, is it called Thunder Mesa in Orlando? I know in Paris the mountain that Big Thunder's on is called Thunder Mesa, but that whole, like the theming of the land in Orlando, I think feels a bit more, I don't know, thorough.
Because obviously it's got Splash Mountain in that area, because in California it's Critter Country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
Orlando. Yeah, okay, cool. Orlando gets it. I think Orlando's got a bit more like kinetic energy going on as well. Like Mark Twain Island and all that stuff. Cool. Fantasyland.
I'd say California.
I'd say Paris.
I'd say California because in Fantasyland in California it's got all the original brides.
That's the other thing,
like Snow White, Mr. Toads and all that.
Yeah, oh god, they've got Mr. Toad.
Like,
and Alice.
And Alice,
yes, oh my god, and Orlando obviously doesn't. I think Fantasyland in Orlando is actually really gross. Like, when you walk through, I'm always like,
I mean,
get me out right
the
now.
expansion bit.
The expansion's nice, but the actual Fantasyland itself, I'm like, ooh, like it's garish and hideous. Okay, California can have another point for Fantasyland.
Yes.
What about Adventureland?
I'd say California.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's got Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's got Indiana Jones. I feel like the food's probably slightly nicer. I feel like Adventureland in Orlando is missing a bit of an e-ticket attraction. Obviously it's got Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it could have something else. Like, because the Jungle Cruises at, like in Japan and Hong Kong are fucking insane, and they're like, whereas obviously the Orlando one's a bit more old school. Yeah, I've never actually thought about that before, but I do think it could use some kind of, I don't know what it would be, but some kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool, so California gets an Adventureland point. Tomorrowland. I'd definitely go Orlando on that one. I thought Tomorrowland in California was absolutely rank. And obviously it's like...
So like...
It's weird, yeah. And it's like, obviously, again, it suffers from, it was the first one, they didn't really know what they were doing with it. Some of it feels quite old school, whereas Orlando's one is much newer and more open. And I do actually think that, like, because they always have the problem with Tomorrowland in that time always catches up with your perception of the future, and you're like, well, we have this stuff now and it's not the future. But I don't know, I always think Orlando's feels quite timeless. Whereas California's is like, this is a 50s view of the future, which I don't hate, but I don't know, I feel like it needs a big overhaul. And especially when Tron opens, Orlando's is going to be amazing. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Cool. Tomorrowland gets a point. Okay, cool. Is that all? Obviously there's like the little side lands like Liberty Square and all that, but because they don't both have one, I feel like you can't really compare. You can't really compare. Right, okay. So we're neck and neck now.
There's one more.
Yeah, I've got one more. I've got one more that's going to be
one more?
Okay, one more big thing that we haven't talked about to compare. Cinderella Castle versus Sleepy Beauty Castle. I hate them both.
Why do you?
Paris is better.
No,
Paris is the best castle. Shanghai's is the second best castle. I think Orlando's castle is kind of ugly, and I think California's castle is kind of dumb and small, and I know they're never going to change it. They're changing the Hong Kong one to make it amazing. I wish they would do that in California, but I know they won't, because people would fucking
go mental.
Kick off, yeah, which I totally appreciate. But yeah, it's hard for me, because out of the two, I genuinely don't know what I'd choose.
I think I'd choose Orlando. Because of like the nighttime shows and stuff.
Yeah.
You get the projections on the castle.
And I think it also goes back to what you were saying, when you walk around the corner and you're like, oh, there it is. Whereas in California, you're like, where's the castle?
Well, in California, when I seen the castle, it was behind the screen.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't even get to see it. So I've got to go with Orlando.
I personally seen it. So yeah, just for that review, it's so like, you are legitimately like, where is it? And it's like, at the end of Main Street, you're like, ooh. Like genuinely, it just, when I went, it had never really occurred to me how small the castle was. And I remember when we saw it and me and my friend were like, really? Like, what the hell? This is so weird. Yeah, I think out of the two, I would probably have to go Orlando as well, but that doesn't mean I like it. It just means it's the best of a bad situation. No, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't have a dragon. It doesn't have a fab Snow White walkthrough. It doesn't have an Alice Garden maze like the other fab castles do. It's shit. I really wish they would improve it because they have the money. It's because no one cares, no one complains about it, so like, exactly, whatever, it's fine. Whereas I'm sat there like, there's no ride in the castle. Cool, right, that's a final point for Orlando, meaning they're at the end of this video.
Dun, dun, dun.
The winner, by a margin of 1 point, is Orlando! Yay!
Yay!
I kind of felt like Orlando was going to win in general. But yeah, okay, that settles it forever. Orlando's better than California, even though if I rank them, I rank Disneyland higher than Magic Kingdom, but you know, it's by the by. It's by the by, but yeah, okay. Based on this, Orlando's better. Personally, out of the two, if you didn't do that, would you say you think Orlando's better? Or you think California's better? Like as a resort?
As a whole?
Yeah.
Stop asking me these questions. I like them both.
Yeah,
in their own ways.
They're both so different, aren't they? And I think it's funny when people are, I'm going to Disney, like people who would go to like the Disneyland resort and expect to get an Orlando experience, or go to the Orlando experience and expect to get the California kind of resort. They're so completely different, and it's kind of interesting that they are so similar, yet they're so wildly unique in their own way. Personally, Orlando as a resort I prefer, but I think again that's me bringing some nostalgia because I grew up going there on holiday. Like, that's where we always went. But comment below and tell us which you prefer out of California and Orlando, or indeed if you, like us, think other resorts might actually be better than these two. Yeah, leave a comment. Thank you very much, Mr. Jack, for joining me on today's video. We can go back to buzzing our tits off about tomorrow, and I literally have like some ironing and a small bit of packing left to do, so I'm gonna get on and do that. But yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, leave comments, like, subscribe, all that shit. If you want to subscribe to Jack's stuff, you can follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Jackstagram. He's like, no, don't I want him following me. And we will see you. Well, the next video will probably be us fannying around in America somewhere. Yes. So yeah, I think the first video from that is going to be travel vlog, because I'm going to film travel vlog tomorrow.
Yay!
Yeah, right, thanks for watching. See you later, bye!